Well, welcome to Ravensdale Bible Academy. Today's overview is on our course called Think Again Christian, Current Events. Now, Think Again Christian is part of our critical thinking series. We want to help our students develop a critical mindset where you're really asking and challenging yourself as to what it is that you're hearing. Am I hearing, am I listening to fake news or real news? Am I listening to fake, current events, or is this the sensationalism? We want to be able to be good listeners, good discerners, and people with wisdom, so that when we hear things, we have a mode and a method as to, well, how do we process this information? How do we know which side is right and which side is wrong? And so one of the old school formats that almost every sixth grader used to do was write current events. You would read the local newspaper and then sit down with a little notepad and write down the who, the what, the when, the where, the why, and the how. And so we're bringing that concept back because we believe that that's how you get to truth. We believe that that's how you get away from opinions, get away from fake news, and really kind of get to the meat. Because if you can't answer those questions, well, you really don't have a story. You really don't have an event. And so we have the use of TV and sound. And so, yes, there's tons of news stations, there's tons of podcasts, there's tons of social media and websites. And so how do we process our current events? Well, the first step is the who. I mean, who are the people involved, right? So you have to properly identify who's involved, or the what. Well, what is this? Is this a peaceful protest or a legal rightful protest? The what? Clearly identify, what it is, the what of the protest. Well, what is it that they're protesting about? Why? Who, what, when, where, why? Why are they protesting? When is this taking place? How has this happened? What are the circumstances around this? We're constantly asking ourselves the who, the what, the when, the where, the why, and the how. So once we start filling out our charts, then we actually, maybe we'll have some holes. We don't quite understand, why is there a war in the Middle East? Why is Israel bombing Gaza? We have to ask ourselves those questions. Well, when did the war start? Why did the war start? How did the war start? You start asking these questions, and then maybe you can start filling in the gap. We take a look at something like, Russia and Ukraine right now. And, if you went to this event and you were reading, it's like, okay, I don't know anything about this conflict. Who's involved? Russia, Ukraine. Well, there's also NATO. There's also European foreign interests. Well, there's also America. So the who, the players involved actually expand. What is this? Well, it's just about, a country, a big bad country with a dictator, Putin, taking over a small, democratic, little innocent country called Ukraine. Is that true? So the who, the what, the when, well, yes, it's been taking place over the last 3 years, but actually this has been developing for many, many years, over 20 years. And so you're going to need to ask yourself, okay, well, I need some more information, because that'll give me the why. Why is Russia invading? Is Russia invading because they're just protecting their own interests and NATO was violating a promise that they had made after World War II? Or are they just, like the Nazis taking that first step towards imperialistic conquering of neighboring nations? And so, we want to ask that. And then, how is this happening? How is this taking place? How are we going to fix it? So that's our process. The who, what, when, where, why, and how. We want to take a current event. We want to take what we've been given, write it down into, I guess, in essence, our own little news report. And you can think of it that way. Here's my news report. And if I had to give a news report, I would have my sheet, my who, what, when, where, why, how. And I could give a current event. I could give not only the factual, evidential points, but then from there, I could also give my opinion. So this is really a great way for you to be able to learn how to process not only current events, but really any information that comes your way.